Mzwandile Mbeje is standing by for us at the inquiry. Mzwandile, very interesting testimony coming from Vytjie Mentor today. Just tell us what you've experienced today.
Very interesting indeed, Nombu. But also interesting is the tussle around the discussion that someone who arranged that meeting was Lakela Kaunda. In her statement, Lakela Kaunda, which has been submitted to the commission, she basically disputes that. She says in 2010 she never had any contact with Ms. Mentor whatsoever. But when Mr. Mentor was being asked by the judge and of course the team that is leading the evidence here, she also insists that indeed it was Lakela Kaunda who was the official at the presidency that arranged that meeting. So it appears that the issue of records will have to come into play because someone is saying this and the other is saying that. No one is really agreeing that perhaps they may have made a mistake. So it's going to be very interesting. And earlier, Nompu, there were applications, particularly that of Lakela Kaunda, because she wants to cross-examine Ms. Mentor on her statements. So the judge decided to defer the decision on that application. In his words, he says, because he is waiting for the conclusion of the evidence of Ms. Mentor. So once it's finalized today, then we'll have an idea whether the judge will then grant the opportunity to Ms. Kaunda to cross-examine Mr. Mentor. Ms. Mentor, I'm sorry.
So Ms. Mentor also gave evidence or testimony about the role of former President Jacob Zuma. Just give us a sense of what she was saying around him.
What she basically said was that at that meeting that was held at the Saxon World, which is the Gupta house, Ajay Gupta offered her the ministerial post. So it's common cause that she said that position was going to be offered to her if she would agree to cancel the line between Johannesburg and India, the SAA line. So, but she says she declined that, and then she got a bit agitated at this kind of offer, and then she started raising her voice. She says at that instance, then President Zuma then came in to calm her down, because she said, you know what, you've got to calm down. And then Ms. Mentor says, and then at that time, she started raising issues with the president that no, there are certain issues that need to be addressed. But she continues to say the president then was not interested in those kind of issues. All he did was to calm her down. Basically, the meeting that she was waiting for, or the meeting that she has been seeking for the very long time, really, in her view, didn't materialize. And of course, Nompu, the judge, and of course the legal team kept on probing on, here was the opportunity that you had always wanted. So the president was here, so why didn't you then seek the meeting or seek certain clarity around a few issues? And then she says, you know what, given the circumstances and what had transpired there, so all she wanted was to go home. And then she says the then president actually walked her out and to her car, the car that was going to take her to the airport. But of course, Nompu, all those issues are subject of discussion, given that there's a lot of dispute around that. The issue of which plane or which airline she used is not clear yet, though she says she's almost certain that it was SAA, but she does concede it's possible she may have used another airline. So again, it's clear that the issue of records in this commission will be very crucial, because without them, it's basically going to be very difficult to prove anything.
You say it's going to be very difficult to prove everything or anything, but it's quite difficult for her. I mean, she's saying that these things happened some 8 years ago. Do you keep SMSs for 8 years, that kind of thing? So it does look like it's going to be quite tricky.
It's going to be quite. I think they will have to involve the cell phone companies. I'm sure they keep the records for that long, because Ms. Mentor says before she even got that call from Ms. Kaunda, they had been exchanging SMSs, basically to say, well, I know you've been wanting to meet the president. So basically, I assume that the cell phone companies could come in here and perhaps assist. I don't know how long do they keep those kinds of records, but yeah, because it will be your word against, it will be one's word against the other. So it's going to be very difficult. Nompu. I mean, as you probably were listening, Ms. Kaunda is totally disputing all that Ms. Mentor is saying, but of course, Ms. Mentor is insistent that these things happened. Right. So she says the reason why she is certain that it's Ms. Kaunda's that called her, because she had got the number from Luthuli House, and then when Ms. Kaunda called, so she says she was able to recognize the number. But of course, as I said, so a lot more will need to be done in terms of getting the facts to this.
Indeed, Mzwandile, we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much for that report, Mzwandile Mbeje, reporting from the State Capture Inquiry.